Hi, I'm Cheryl.
I'm Dan, and welcome to our podcast,
where we're talking to real people about real problems in real situations.
So grab a cuppa while we talk founder life.
I've got to start with a question. Come on, go for it.
Go.
Action.
So today we are with my husband, James. And we thought we'd start off, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you've got to where you are now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm James, Cheryl's husband. Starting off with a bit about me. I'm currently a painter and decorator, but going all the way back to when I left school. I joined the military as soon as I could. Wanted to travel the world and basically get away from home, really, and do the things I liked doing as an adolescent, I suppose, and get paid for doing it. I did, whilst in the military, I did quite a few tours to different places, some good, some not so good. Picked up a lot of memories, again, some good, some not so good. I left the military. The reason for leaving the military was because at the time, all of the militaries, to be fair, changed the way they did basic training, the way they also changed how you trained into your specialisation. Whereas when I joined, you did your basic training and then you learned exactly what you signed up to do, and that's what you focused on, and you knew it inside out. The new generation coming through would do 4 weeks here, 4 weeks there, 4 weeks there. Then at the end, they'd be told, right, you're going to be going up, posted off to there. And I found that towards the end, when I was out in Iraq, we had some people join, and they'd done the specialisation that they were going to be working on. They did right at the beginning and didn't know what they were doing, basically. So for me, alarm bells were ringing that actually I can't rely on my comrades around me because they'll end up getting me killed. So that was one of my main reasons for handing my notice in, to be honest. If it had stayed the same, I probably would have done my full 22 years and left, which would have been leaving this year. But I didn't. Anyway, so I left there, hoping to become a firefighter. Unfortunately, going through the application process and everything, there was a 4-year waiting list for London Fire Brigade. And I wasn't really a patient person back then.
Still not now?
I'm a little bit better, to be honest.
little bit.
I'm better at managing it now, yeah, than I wasn't then. So I decided I saw an opportunity. I was on a train with my best friend and we were reading the Metro newspaper, and I saw a clip about revenue protection on the railway. And we both looked at the salary. I didn't have a clue what the actual role was. It just sounded security-wise, and I thought, that's a bit of me. Saw the money and was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Let's go for it. Mm-hmm. So we applied, went to the interviews, breezed through all of that, got there, turned up on the train, and I realised both of us realised it was to become a ticket inspector, which was a bit of a shock to both of us. But then we were both reminded of actually the salary was really good, so we'll give it a go. Joined the railway. I did 12 years in the end on the railway, working my way up from basic ticket inspector all the way up to a senior area customer service manager. And towards the end, it was pretty much looking after and overseeing the day-to-day running of train stations, staff, operational side of things, performance, all that. Anything that you can think of railway was pretty much what I was involved with. I picked up a lot of knowledge there, especially with HR and managing people, managing teams, managing projects. I did that for 12 years. Obviously met Cheryl towards the end of that 12 years, and it was very clear once we had settled down together that actually my job was hindering the growth of Pig Financials. And that was purely because I was never there. So Cheryl was always having to deal with the kids. If I was if I was doing my normal day's work, a lot of the time I'd be on call, so I'd be covering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at times. And then if there was an incident, I could come home from work, say 6 o'clock in the evening, and then there's a big incident on the railway, a fatality, something like that, early hours of the morning, and I'd have to go out and deal with that as well. So it just didn't really fit what either of us wanted, to be honest. I wanted to spend more time with the kids. And yeah, Cheryl wanted to grow the business. So it was a joint decision, really, wasn't it, for me to step away from the railway and to support Cheryl growing Pink Pig Financials. And kind of initially, I suppose you could call it, yeah, part-time house husband, part-time jack of all trades, really. But I found quite quickly after being involved in the managing of hundreds of staff and train stations around the network to only having to worry about the kids and myself, I kind of struggled with that mentally a bit. And I kind of didn't see where I really fit into anything. Although on the bigger picture, the Pink Pig Financials was growing, which was great. But I kind of, I think it's fair to say I didn't really feel like a man anymore.
Yeah, you kind of lost your way.
Yeah, I lost my mojo a little bit. So then coming on to where I'm at now, I'd always dabbled in painting and decorating and handyman bits and pieces, and I'd always done it for friends and family for free over the years because I enjoyed doing it. So it was something we kind of said, well, why don't I actually start up my own business? Because I was still in between the kids and that. I was still going out doing a bit of decorating here and there.
You'd run out of walls in our house.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had to start charging people. But yeah, so I decided to give it a go. Obviously, as a group with the business, it was a no-brainer to go Pink Pig decorating. To add to Pink Pig Financials and the others, Pink Pig HR, and I'm not sure what other ones there are, but I'll get told off. But yeah, so that was a natural fit. The branding was already there pretty much anyway, so it was a quick transition from that side of it. And yeah, so for me, painting and decorating has gone from strength to strength, busier than ever. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. Yeah.
Would you say there's anything from your time in the military that you've kind of transferred to running your own business and daily life that you found helpful?
That's a good question. Do you know what? I think I could probably say the majority of things that I've learned through the years in the military have helped me when I've come out, to be honest, in anything that I've done. The main one would be discipline, professionalism. But I've always been a firm believer, practice what you preach, know your stuff. And I've always been don't expect people to be able to do anything that I can't do. So especially on the railway and being in the military, I would expect to know my job, my specialisation inside out. And there's no excuses there. And I found that on the railway, although people didn't really take to that to start with. But I think once people get to know me, they're like, oh, "Okay, it's military James, so we'll just leave him to it." his OCD's kicking in. But yeah, I think it's really important. The things I've taken from the military, I can relate to them. As I get older, you can kind of look back and think, oh, I used that. The training that I had there has helped me in this, that, and even in relationships, to be fair. I joined the military as a little tearaway, to be honest. And I came out, I'd like to think, as a man, grown up, mature, knew what he wanted to do. And, a more respectful, knowledgeable person, I think, which has helped me going forward.
This gave you a pretty good set of values and a foundation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm a strong believer that, and I know a lot of people wouldn't agree, but national service, I think it should be here. We should use it, and I think it's fantastic for not even youngsters that are going through difficulties, because I did at the time, but people that generally, are more academic. Obviously, there's the officer side of it, and I think it's an amazing thing to be able to add to your tools at such a young age, that really opens your eyes to the rest of the world.
So does sound pretty amazing, to be honest.
But, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you know how I get on with Boris next week.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
What do you think? So, based upon all your experience and and where you stand now, what do you think people misunderstand about you most?
Misunderstand about me. Okay, so do you know what? I'd probably say throughout my life, I've always been a joker, cheeky chappy, doesn't take life too seriously, or tasks or things too seriously. And a big example is when we got the call that we were deploying out to Iraq in 2003, when it all kicked off. And even then, I think it was, for me, that was an excuse to go home for the weekend, get all my mates together, and go out and get drunk. And so, it wasn't a concern for me at all, and nothing really has been most of my life, to be fair. But I think that side of it, what people don't actually see, is on the inside, I'm actually very controlled, as in everything I'm doing, there's a reason for why I'm doing it, and I'm aware of my surroundings, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that answer that.
It does. It makes total sense. It would be total sense. So based upon
that won't come across. Yeah, that won't come across if you just saw me in a meeting or out and about.
He's a lot more intelligent than he gives in as well.
So, so based upon that and who you are as a person, and everything you've learned and experienced, if you could be remembered for one thing, what do you think it would be?
If I can be remembered for one thing, I think putting others first.
I like that.
For me, I think putting others first. I always worry if other people are okay, whether it's friends, family, or just even customers. If I'm doing decorating jobs or on the railway with customers, I think I'm a bit too conscious about how others are feeling, or can I help them achieve something rather than myself.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely like that with me and Pink Pig.
Yeah, because I'm quite content. So if I can help other people, put a smile on their face, or do a good gesture here and there, it doesn't really cost anything, does it?
Where do you think that's come from?
How I've always wanted to be treated myself, I think.
Okay.
I had I had a hard child upbringing, for various reasons, and I think it was always that feeling of what I missed or what I wanted, maybe, as I was growing up. And then as I joined the military, I had a point to prove to certain people, and to myself, really. And then it's kind of carried on from there. I've come out of there, and you know what? I've got is the respect, and treating people how they should be treated and how I want to be treated.
But they're all they seem like all skills that would help you now with as you say, with business and the painting and decorating. Yeah. People know that you look after them. You do things to a great standard, which I'm sure has helped you get nothing but a good reputation for what you do. So, can only help, can't it? And I think it's a good way to live your life. Treat others how you expect to be treated.
And I think at the same time, you're never going to please everyone. There's always going to be that 1% that will find fault or have an opinion, and so be it. But I don't have to choose to surround myself around those people. So
Mhm.
No, none of
As
us
long as
do.
the ones close to me and the ones I'm helping are happy, then so be it.
I think that's one of the big things about owning your own business, which is something you're finding more about now, isn't it? That you can choose who you work with, and
Very true.
and
Yeah, very true.
those who suck your time or those who are draining. You just, if you're employed, you don't get a chance. You have to you have to work with them, don't you? But being your own boss, and that is one of the virtues. One of the big
I think,
things.
no, that's really important. I think, especially for people starting out as a business owner. I think initially you think, oh, I need to get all the business in, and so I can raise money and capital, and so I've got cash, all these kind of things. But actually, by taking on all those in, say I don't know, say it's painting and decorating, taking all these customers on are actually 30% of them customers that you would want to be working with. Do they value what you're offering them? Some don't know. They want something for nothing, and don't actually appreciate the quality and the professionalism you're giving them. Sure, it's the same for Cheryl. Any business really, So I think to start up, a lot of people think I must get the business. I must get the business. When actually, I think, well, no. If you value your worth, then you should be choosing who you work with, not the other way around.
I think that's sorry, I was going to say, I think that's something you kind of learn though if you get going, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So I was the same, and I'm sure you was the same as well, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
And it's something you learn over time. Because I remember, a couple of years back, you were going, "Oh, I don't know why you're doing that. Why are you not doing this? Why are you not taking on everyone?" And then all of a sudden, you had the light bulb moment not too long ago. You're like, get it.
Yeah.
I think if you're a service-based business, which we all are, authenticity to yourself, the brand you create, and your customers, but mainly yourself, is so important, because you'll only cause yourself headaches, heartaches, and problems if you're not authentic to what you want to do, what you want to achieve. So
exactly, and
can only help.
It's having those values as well, isn't it? Which, all right, when we created our values, we created Pink Pig, my company, but actually they go across all of the companies, even yours, lifestyle, and it's nice that you've been able to get to work with a lot of people who value the lifestyle and let you work between school runs and things, isn't it? So that we can
definitely
manage and juggle between us.
But I think the nature of how the world's going nowadays is more flowing to where a lot of us want it to flow. Really, I think there is that acceptance and understanding and flexibility now, isn't there?
Do you think that was one of the biggest reasons for starting up on your own? The flexibility, the lifestyle,
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot going on as a family. Probably most importantly is me being able to play golf.
You're getting too good now, so I'm not playing with you anymore. So.
That's debatable. That is. But I think for us, it's kind of, we're not old. Feel old, but not old, but we want that nice lifestyle balance, really. Want to be able to do stuff with the kids or together, and still earn a living at the same time. Yeah.
I'll let Cheryl ask a question because I've been very nosy. So go on.
I don't know where we're up to on our little list of ones we have here. Oh, this is a good one. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self some advice, what would it be? I'm hoping we don't want to know this one.
How long have we got?
It's a long list of advice, is it?
I think
sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be to just take a breath, and that can be in relation to being given an instruction, an order, or reading something or hearing something. I think at that age and how I was, it was the reaction came almost instantly. And then actually after it's been explained or you've sat down and you've had time to reflect on it, you're like, oh, it's not too bad. So maybe, patience. And yeah.
So you haven't got any patience.
Yeah. Well, not when I was 18. No. I
There's
like to
that
think I have
ability.
a small amount of patience. Yeah. Now.
So it's that ability to be able to respond rather than react.
Yeah, just pause, think, and be patient. Don't react. Yeah,
that's a good one. I think that's one we all need as well.
yeah,
Definitely, not just at that age, even now.
yeah, definitely.
I think
because I think back then, I definitely wouldn't digest things as well as I obviously do now. But I think that's a given for most teens, isn't it? I think,
experience, isn't it, and just life.
Yeah.
General.
Fair enough. I'm going to let Cheryl ask the next question again. Didn't quite mean that how it came out, but there you go.
So obviously, over the years, you've got to experience many things and seen many different people in many walks of life. Who would you say are the three most influential people in your life, and how have they impacted you?
I like this question.
I think I'd have to. I wouldn't have said up until probably 4 or 5 years ago there was anyone that I really looked up to, or because I didn't really think like that. But since then, do you know what? There's two people that spring to mind, and that would be the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, and Middleton. And it's going to sound cheesy, but this one here, sitting next to me. And my reasoning for it is
brownie points.
I don't want to cook dinner. I think the reason mainly for the Ant and Tyson, having read all their books, I've met Ant Middleton, haven't had the pleasure of meeting Tyson, but you know what? Reading their experiences and what they've been through in life and their stories and where they've come from to where they are now, I think it would inspire anyone. I think, especially Tyson's story with mental health, etc. I think that's just really, really important. And one of his books, I can't remember what one it was. One of his books that I read on our honeymoon in the Maldives, and that really got to me because at the time I was still struggling with the whole leaving the railway, not being the governor or in charge of everything and being in control of everything, to where do I fit now in the world and with the family, etc. But reading your Tyson's book, I said to you, didn't I? I was like, oh my God. And that kind of changed my mindset as to actually it's all right, talk about it and it's fine, and work out what you want to do as long as you talk about it, and admit that you are struggling. But yeah, talking about it and reading that was good. As far as Ant goes, obviously there's the military background side of it. But again, I mean, if you look at his story, he wasn't such a good boy when he was younger either.
Definitely not.
Some might argue he's not such a good boy now either.
And he's obviously did his spell in the military in different branches, etc. That's turned him into the man he is. He's come out. He reflects on a lot of things, and he's using his ability of what he's learned to inspire millions of people. And I think that's fantastic. Now, my third one, and I don't mind cooking dinner, so it wasn't because I didn't want to cook dinner. With Cheryl, I think, do you know what? If anyone knows her story in depth, and if I was an outside person looking in, if I read it, I've always said to her she should do an autobiography about her life. I said, because it'd be a big seller, I think. But yeah, so obviously knowing where Cheryl started off, what she was trying to achieve, and what she's been through in her life, to be able to now sit at the dinner table with her, or we go out or anything, and sit on the sofa to look at her and see the person that she was and who she's become now is extraordinary. I think,
Make me cry.
make her
cry.
No.
Make me cry.
But no, I think she underestimates herself so much, and I just think she's an amazing human being. Really, she's worked hard and hard and hard, and she deserves all the reward and accolades that she gets for it. Really, yeah. So I really, I admire her, and I wouldn't have minded Cheryl as a mentor when I was a bit younger. So I never had a mentor really. So but I wouldn't mind if I was younger now. I wouldn't mind Cheryl. Plus, she's easy on the eye as well. Am I allowed to say that?
Well, you said it now.
It's a bit late. It's a bit late.
No.
Through the magic of editing, that will stay in.
She's moving further and further away from me.
Okay, so from those three incredible people you've picked, it sounds like there's quite a lot of relatability about experiencing something difficult, growth.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'd advise anyone who's had difficulty in their life, regardless of what it is, actually look to these individuals to see if you can relate. The Tyson, the Ant Middleton. There's so many people out there that actually you pick up a book and read it, and a light bulb goes, and you're like, oh my God, yeah. I think there's a big portion of the world that just see them as they're celebrities, and lucky them, but actually no, look a bit deeper and you can relate and admire and look up to them more. I think anyway.
I think that goes a lot for quite a few business owners that you see, and that talking about what they've achieved and everything, and it's like, I think a few people were like, oh well, it's all right for them, or they're lucky, or things like that. And it's like, well, actually, you don't see. You might see that bit, but you don't see all that hard work that goes behind it in the scenes, in the background, that nobody knows about. And it's nice that some people like that do shine a light on it, and you can actually see the journey.
Definitely.
Based upon the three people you've picked, and obviously it being quite relatable to a lot of people, all three of their journeys have been different because they've ended up in different places at the end. So based upon that, what would you class as your definition of success, based in life and business?
Success for me, would be, I think it's quite simple, really. Success for me would be that as a family, we're happy, we see each other a lot, we do things together a lot, I can work and earn money and, enjoy life, have that work-life balance, have that perfect work-life balance where the whole family are enjoying life, they've got the support they need, and at the same time, we've got the financial backing behind us there through the work. But I've never been greedy unless it comes to food. But financially, I've never been greedy. As long as we can enjoy life as a family, then great. That is success to me.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm going to ask the next question because I want to see what you both say to it. Really, we're going to go a bit more light-hearted now.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing everything you have. But I'm just going to ask you, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
You know the answer to this.
I do. I don't know why, but that's why I'm asking you.
If I could live anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think Cheryl was expecting me to say something similar to hers. If I could live anywhere in the world, it'd have to be Australia.
Okay.
For me.
Reason?
Then Cyprus.
Fair enough.
Yeah, then Cyprus. But yeah, no, Australia. Yeah, definitely.
What's your reason for that?
That would be both of our first choices, but it's not exactly easy and doable.
Yeah. No.
There's a lot of thought going on there as well.
Unfortunately, there's exes involved, so yeah, that's not something that could happen overnight. No, or in the short term, anyway.
No, by the time we can both go, we'll be too old to get visas, which would be annoying.
I think we're too old now, aren't we? You might be. I think we better move on from that one.
I think you're losing brownie points now, aren't you? You gave
definitely cooking dinner now.
And I'll go ask the next one. And this is a game that we play all the time in the car. Oh, I say all the time. A lot of the time in the car.
Is this still
on
recording?
long journeys? Yes, this is still recording. Can't take you anywhere. So you win the 184 million on the Euros. What you can do with it?
What makes you think I didn't last week?
Because you sold like anything when you didn't.
If I won the Euro
or the lottery. We like the lottery game.
Yeah, well, it depends. I think if it'd have to be the big one. If I won big on the Euro, then it would be quite. Yeah, it's quite simple, really. Holiday first. Whilst I'm on holiday, get in contact with everyone I hold dear and close to me, friends and family. Work out what it would take for them to pay their mortgages off, and if they want to stop working, and share the wealth, really. Because I think winning that kind of money is crazy money, So I'd definitely be sharing it out and helping my closest friends and family. I think, definitely. And then long term, I think.
This is what I was waiting for.
I think long term, I was. It sounds funny. I've always liked the idea of being able to give or support and give people a chance. So I would love to be able to do something with Cheryl or someone else where we were like a mini Dragon's Den.
Okay.
Like a God blimey, what do they call them? Something investor. What's the old
angel investor?
Something like an angel investor, but more involved, where they've got to come and pitch with their business idea, and if I think it's any good, I'll probably get a lot wrong, to be fair, but I've got 184 million, so it wouldn't really matter too much.
A lot of the Dragons Den,
but
don't get it right either. So
I'd love to be able to give people the opportunity who struggle. But if they just had that tiny bit of help or investment to do it, that'd make me happy, I think. Yeah, seeing other people prosper and
other people again, and he's helping.
It's the other people thing again, isn't it?
What a theme. Where do you think that's come from?
I think it's a desire for me to feel that way. I think I've always craved that. Growing up, and acknowledgement and support. I think, and having someone there. I know I've got that with Cheryl. But I don't think I've ever had it in my life, really. But I've got it.
I think a lot of people can.
You're welcome.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
I think a lot.
No, definitely. I'd love to be able to help people. Yeah.
So,
go on.
If you was on Dragon's Den, who would you want to invest in your business?
Oh, it's got to be Deborah and Peter. Old school Dragons. Know their stuff.
You do cheer Peter on a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I do like
Peter Jones. I'm a Peter Jones fan.
Yeah, 100%. But I love Deborah as well. Who's that fella who sits
Queen,
on
as
the
they
end?
call her.
Tuka. Yeah, no, definitely not for me. I think I'd just talk to the other dragons and put a wall up where he is. I'm not interested in the fella.
Immediately, if you walked in there, it's like, you don't talk to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the first word that would come out of his mouth would be, "I can get that for $2 from China." That's all he ever says. I can do that for $2, $3, isn't it? You're like, radio, yeah.
Tuki, you're kind of missing the point of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, exactly it, isn't it?
Sarah's nice. She's nice. Stephen's nice. But yeah, no, I've got to go with Peter and Deborah, the dream team. Give them 2.5% each. After 12 months, it drops to 0.5 each. Happy days.
You're not sure what yet. But
Yeah, not sure for what, but they'll accept.
Yeah.
So, what's your biggest pet peeve, would you say?
That's so fun.
Yeah, Cheryl knows this. I cannot stand incompetence. Incompetent people, incompetence in general, really. Whether it's people in the workplace, driving.
Kids not doing as they're told or being mind readers.
Kids not being mind readers.
I don't know why they don't
expecting to know what I'm thinking without me saying anything. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, definitely incompetence.
Okay.
Because I think that goes back to the fact that if you're doing something, I expect you to know what you're doing. Otherwise, don't say you're this, you're that. You know. Going back to the military was, yeah, you learn a trade, you learn it inside out. Don't expect someone else to do what you can't do. So yeah, and I think I always feel like there's always incompetence surrounding you wherever you go. Really.
HMRC.
This is a podcast.
I said that one today, but
Yeah.
HMRC won't listen, and anyone who does will agree.
I'm going to send it to him.
I mean, take painting and decorating, for instance. I've known companies that have been trading for years and years and years. We're talking, 20 odd years, passed down the family, etc. Big names, and you go to a job to look at, to quote, and you look at it, you can see the imperfections, you can see the issues, and then you speak to the customer and they say, oh, so and so did it, we're not happy with it, etc. They charge us way over the odds, and I kind of look at it and I think I just think it's madness, complete incompetence. Yeah.
I think
right or wrong for what I'm saying, but that's just how I feel.
I think you find a lot of incompetence in business, and I think this is all about. We'll come back to what you said earlier about you kind of just repeated it there about knowing your stuff and what you're good at. But I think too many people try and do too much. I mean, certainly when running businesses, I think people. I mean, if I look at me and my industry, I think when people start out businesses in my industry, people try to advise on everything and know everything, and you just can't. And people that say that they can are either extremely clever or lying. So
yeah, I mean, there's a fine line, isn't there? Because especially as business owners, we're not going to know everything, as you said, but there's a fine line of saying yes, finding out how to do it and doing it, and saying yes and actually completely cocking it up. There's such a fine line, and it's knowing your own limitations as well, isn't it?
That's it.
It's being authentic to yourself and what you want to take on, and but if you're going through the process of saying yes to something, and you're looking into how to do it, then you have a idea of where you need to go, what you need to do, and what you need to look at, because you've got that thought process. So it's saying yes to something and you don't even know where to start.
Yeah, what's the word? Unconscious incompetence.
Yeah,
you don't know what you don't know.
Especially when it comes to businesses, because you take an example that you've just said there, James, where you've gone out to that client and they see all their imperfections and whatever else. They're not gonna ring that other person back to come and put it right. They'll now take you on and they'll use your services again and again and again. So I think it's important.
But I think with that, it's a bit of a creature of habit. I think with a lot of people, I think they have a service, it works for them. I think a lot of them think, well, why change if it works? But then actually bringing something else in, say I've come in, I've looked at a job, and let's just say cutting in, for instance, around a wall and a ceiling. I can come in and see the colours are onto the ceiling, and cutting in's not very good. So for me to quote the job, it would be a case of, if you want me to do it properly, even if they don't want the ceiling doing, I'm going to redo the ceiling because the cutting in before isn't up to standard. Otherwise, that's going to look bad on me and give my skills and my company a bad reputation. So yeah, but I think people are so a creature of habit, aren't they?
Definitely.
So they won't necessarily think, or they might think, oh, well, that's the best that it can be, or so we'll just go with that. Don't want to challenge the status quo. Yeah.
Good trades are hard to find.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, my house is full of wonky walls and everything. So.
Yeah, when you think that, yeah. So what did I do last week?
The mirror.
In the mirror. Well, Cheryl had a project about 6 months ago to make a mirror. So it looks like a window effect mirror in Harrison's bedroom. So it's loads of little glass panels, but she wanted to do it like in a window frame style thing. So with me being a bit impatient,
I just never got the not the what's the word? I never had the right
motivation.
Yeah, motivation to do it.
So I motivated myself to do it. It was irritating me when I went in the bedroom and I could see these glass panels on there.
Incompetence being me here.
Yes. But yeah, we talk about you think a wall straight, and you'd be surprised how many houses aren't. It looks a perfectly straight plasterboard wall, and you start putting the glass on, and then you start realising, you turn around after 5 minutes and the glass starts popping off, and because it's on a curve of a bit of a plaster, and you're like, oh. So it turns into a simple job, but it turns into an hour's messing around, getting the no-nails glue out and all sorts.
I'm a bit of no-nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know looking at it now. Yeah.
That's perfect. Good job. Child is very happy, so.
Yeah, child's happy, wife's happy. Easy life.
Got a window to look at himself in.
That's it. He's got plenty to look at.
He definitely has. Bless him.
So based upon that, obviously that's something you've taken through and you've taken into business. Is there anything else that you think that business has taught you that you didn't expect?
I think we touched on it earlier, really. Knowing, picking the jobs, because for me early on it was all about getting the work, getting my name out there, because I still think word of mouth is massive. I'm not a big social media. I haven't got a clue, to be honest, with half of it. If you see any what they call reels, if you see anything like that, it's not me that's done it. Stories, that's it. Post a story or something. Yeah, that you've lost me already. I can upload a picture.
And I do the rest.
I think I'm starting to be able to do hashtags? Yeah. So yeah, that's an improvement for me. But yeah, tech-wise, yeah, that's not my thing. But yeah, no, I think definitely picking the jobs you want to do. because they're so much more rewarding. You get the satisfaction of doing the job. The customer's appreciative, and yeah, that's something I've definitely learned. I think we've learned that together, to be fair. And yeah, you don't have to work with people if you don't want to, really. If they're not the way you don't want to sound rude. But yeah, if they're not your cup of tea and they don't align with your values, then you don't have to work with them. I think once you're established, and yeah.
And I think the thing as well is that the
Which
people
I've learnt,
you do work with that you shouldn't, it always goes wrong.
Yeah.
And they're never going to recommend you because it's not quite right. Or
they'll never be happy, never be satisfied, no matter what you do.
Exactly. So you're actually going to do your business more harm by working with non-ideal clients than turning them away, isn't it? It's a hard one to do. It's such a hard thing to do, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
it is a hard thing to do because it's easy to see the money at the end, isn't it? But then you have to think about how difficult is this going to be? How is the client going to ring and ring and ring and ring and ring because we're just not compatible, so something's not quite translating right, or whatever it is. So it's exactly as you say. It's about that.
That's it. You need to be motivated to want to deliver, really, as well, don't
you? Yeah.
If you're not engaged with it, you're not motivated for it, you're off to a losing start already, regardless of, forget the money, money's, some people are motivated by it, but yeah, no, it's not a healthy combination, I don't think. Yeah.
It's not the be all and
so I think that's something, that's the other thing I've definitely learned. Yeah, be honest and be picky. You can afford to be choosy of who you do what for and work with, I think. Yeah.
I think you end up saving money.
Yeah, I do. I think you can turn a lot of the problem jobs away, and you think, oh, blimey, I'm losing all that money. But actually, you're not. I suppose you accountants, I suppose you could look at it, sole traders to limited companies. Sole traders are never going to pay what a limited company pays. Am I right? Not sure.
Yeah, you're right.
And sole traders are going to take more of your time.
Yeah, a lot more time
than actually a limited company would. So actually, what's the more worthwhile? What's your goal as a bit? It's not saying either are better or worse, but as a business, what is your goal? Do you want to grow the business? Do you want to have more time on your hands? Then yeah, in that
comes down to,
I'd say limited companies are I'm not an accountant, so I'll be quiet.
It comes back to something you said earlier, doesn't it? About where you said about you should know your trade inside out and don't expect someone else to do what you can't do. So focusing on limited companies, knowing your limited companies inside out, and not focusing on sole traders, which is actually quite a lot different. So
that's exactly the decision we did take. And at the time, I remember you was just like, "What on earth are you doing?"
I couldn't understand.
Oh my god, we had so many conversations, and I think you told me off so many times. But now you 100% get it, and it's not because they're bad people or anything like that. It's just because it doesn't suit the way we work. So.
But that's when you open my eyes to the pick who you work with, what jobs you accept, etc., and look at the bigger picture. So yeah.
So based upon that, and looking at the bigger picture, and you've obviously got quite a lot of attention to detail. What do you think your industry is going to look like in 5 years, and how would you like it to look?
I think. How I think it will look in 5 years is I worry that there will be more so-called painter and decorators out there that aren't actually painter and decorators. And I think this is probably going to happen with a lot of the trades as well, is that a lot of people are going to leave their certain jobs and try their hand at something else, and actually not be good at it, and provide poor services, which is then going to give a bad name to the actual good ones. and potentially take business away from good, reputable businesses as well. Because they're going to undercut, they're going to charge next to nothing. And then when an actual honest, decent company comes in and gives an honest quote, they're going to think you're overcharging because some Joe blogs down the corners just charged you, next to nothing.
We see that a lot in our industry, actually. I'm sure you probably do as well, Dan, don't you?
I think how I'd like to see it look is, I think when you look at these companies like mybuilder.com, checkertrade.com, I'm sure there's some others out there. Yes, you're paying to be on there, but I think in order to be on there, I think whoever's in charge of these sites, and they might do, but if they are, I don't think they're doing a very good job, is actually come out. So if I wanted to go on checkertrade.com, I wanted to be a part of it, and I paid all my fees to be a part of it, I would expect someone from there to come out and look at a percentage of my jobs every year to give me a rating to be able to stay on that site. Because obviously you're paying a premium to have the privilege of being on there. But that seems to be all about, that's it, getting the money in. I'm not on them. I don't believe I'll ever go on them.
Not so they are right now. It's not
because again, there's companies on there. You just think, how are you on theirs? Because you can go online and read feedback from people and bad experiences, and you think, well, to me that should be the best of the best on there, or just decent, honest companies, which someone has been round to, I don't know, say quarter of your jobs every 12 months to check the quality and standard, to vouch that you are what you say you are, and you can deliver what you can deliver. I think that's how I would change the industry. I think, and I'd do that for all trades people. There we go.
I like it. I think honesty and integrity and these sort of basic values are so important in business. So important. I don't know about you, but I say to people all the time, there's lots of, I would say to someone all the time, you could do this and you could do that, but I don't think you should. I think you should maybe just leave things as they are, or do this or do that. And I'll do that on the basis of, I'd rather that person think that I've done a really good job, and then them in the future, if they need me, come back and ask me, or if someone said to them, I've spoken to this person and they've told me I should do all this, and they give my details over, and I'm sure that's exactly what you're after.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I think that's where I'll go back to I'm not so social media savvy. I clearly don't look like I am either. But everything I do, I'll probably say 90% of it is all word of mouth. So people that have had a job from me then recommend me on to their neighbour or their friend or their family, or it's a very powerful thing. I think a lot of people say, social media is the new, but the old school word of mouth is still strong, especially in trades. And
what do you think it is that encourages people to? I mean, I know you've alluded on a lot of your values.
Social media. There's a lot of clever people. I mean, I could probably give my 6-year-old son a phone and say, "Do me a nice, what's that thing? The real thing or something." He could probably do a reel. He's 6 years old. So I think it's for that younger generation. I think it's very easy to paint a picture of something that's perfect and fantastic, when in actual fact, I like the old school way of actually word of mouth is proven. You're not watching something, you're not listening to something, someone's physically telling you and showing you, look what he's done in my house, or whether it be electrician, plumber, any trade, carpenter, painter and decorator, look what he's done. He can deliver. You know, what better 5-star rating can you get, really, I think.
No.
So yeah, but they're both, you know, they're both powerful in their own minds, aren't they? Really, social media is massive. I'll never understand it, so I don't worry about it. I worry about what people think and what people say. So.
And it's important in being in the trades, isn't it? Because as you say, seeing something, you know, feeling it, and is a much better indication of a picture, isn't it? So, yeah,
it definitely is.
I'll leave Cheryl to do the closing question.
So, final question. Sum up. Well, not to sum up, to finish off even. That's the right words. So, what one question do you wish we'd asked you today, and how would you have answered it? Or what would you have liked to have talked about today that you haven't, I suppose?
On
the spot now.
Which one was it? Which one question you wish I'd asked you?
Yeah.
And how would you have answered? Absolutely no idea. Absolutely.
To be fair,
I don't know whether that's a reflection of what a great job we've done.
We'll take that one.
Absolutely no idea, really.
We'll take that.
One question you wish you'd asked, and how would you have answered it? Oh, go on then. I'll give you one.
Go on.
You asked me about the 184 million.
Okay.
Would I have shared it with you?
I know you would.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I couldn't think of anything, but yeah, no. Yeah, of course I would, yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's
you're going for a slight second, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm glad you.
No, of course.
I'm glad you did.
I don't think there's any other questions, really. I don't think. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll give you a question. Here we go. Or it's a question for me, anyway. Right. So, did you ask me about a regret or something? Maybe a regret.
What was your one regret, or?
Yeah. Is there anything I regret doing in my or not doing in my life or something? Have you asked me that before?
No, we haven't asked.
Oh, there we go. There you go. Dan, you can ask me that one if you like.
No, go on. You've asked it to yourself.
Okay.
You're asking yourself.
So, in response, it's a great question.
It's the best question.
My one biggest regret would have been not being patient enough and sticking it out when I left the military to become a firefighter. Because I've always chased, Cheryl knows, I've always chased, I'm a daredevil-ish person. I like being at risk. I'm in my element when I'm, I suppose, in danger or out of my comfort zone, I think. Yeah. And that's something I've always regretted. I'm on the books for my local village fire station, but contrary to their poster outside saying they're recruiting, they're not recruiting. Because I've got the email to prove it. But yeah, anyway, yeah, no, that's my biggest regret, I think, because that was something I absolutely loved in the military when I did the firefight training. I loved it. Was really good at it.
You actually had a fire as well on the sub, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'd had fire on my submarines. I've had a couple of fires on the ships as well. So, yeah, that was something that would have always have got me out of bed. And yeah, that'd be the regret that I think. I'd still like to think I could do it and probably compete with the young pups, but realistically, I think my mind says it, but I don't think my body probably could.
I think
or stubbornness, fine. I probably would, but yeah.
I think you'd be fine. The interesting thing is about that is, do you think if you did that, do you think you would have ended up going down the same path and your life ended up being the same way that it is now? No, definitely not. I think I'd still be very militarized
because it would have been going from a military culture to a firefighter culture where it's still rules, regs, following a process. So I don't think I would have had, I definitely wouldn't have had the freedom that I've had since leaving and becoming my own, using what I've learned to then become the manager or the boss or whatever I had been. Yeah. I still think I would have met Cheryl though. I have to be completely honest, because I met her in the playground, didn't I? So I think I would have met her in the fire truck when they went to schools. So
you think it would have helped the cause even more? Do you?
Exactly. I think it would have speeded the process up. To be honest with you, had me on dungarees on, and you know, yeah, no, yeah. Instead of trying to get her attention in a playground full of hundreds of people, and yeah, not really the place to be doing that kind of thing. But you know, needs must and all.
It's not the nicest environment in the world either, is it? So
no. Well, it was just more. I was more angling for a conversation, but nothing else really, wasn't it? She caught my eye, and I thought, oh, she looks nice. I'll try and get a conversation with her, and yeah, she kept ignoring me.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, not on purpose. She was just looking straight through me.
It sounds so bad.
Yeah.
No,
I can't remember what happened next, though, to be fair. Oh, yeah.
It's the kids.
The kids. Yeah, it was the kids that decided our fate.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
And announced it to the whole school playground.
Yeah. I think Harry told Cheryl's Taylor. Then Taylor announced it to everyone. In front of everyone, yeah. And then it was a birthday party, wasn't it? I think it was my eldest birthday party, and I said, "Oh, well," and I thought, "Oh, we'll invite Taylor," and I was like, "Oh, hold on a minute, this could be an opportunity here." So I said, "Oh, does your mum want to come along?"
And that was the question he wanted you to ask him, really.
Yeah, I like it though.
And then I think I texted her that evening and said, "How about we put the boys' theory to the test and let me take you out?" And that was that. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. And it comes back to what you said earlier about everything you do is for a reason. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
All right, no problems.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Lovely. And to you. Thank you very much.
And you too, yeah.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'd also love to hear your feedback, so please leave us a review or drop us a DM on our Insta @Found to Life Podcast.
See you in the next episode.